I'm Terry Owens. On this edition of MTA Commuter Connections, we'll introduce you to MTA's new administrator, Robert Smith. We've got a Red Line project update for you, some great news on a new transit grant, and we'll answer your questions in our Ask the MTA segment. That's all here on this edition of MTA Commuter Connections. Welcome to MTA Commuter Connections. I'm Terry Owens. For this edition, we are on location at the Copper Mines du Burns Arena in Canton, which is one of the many communities the future Red Line will serve when it's completed. The Red Line and all of Maryland's transit services have a new man at the helm. Mr. Robert Smith recently became MTA's new transit chief. He's a highly regarded transit professional with more than 30 years experience, and we are delighted to have him join us on Commuter Connections. Mr. Smith, welcome.
Thank you, Terry. Glad to be here.
So, 30 years in the business, you transition to the private sector, and you get a call to come back to the public sector here in the state of Maryland. What possessed you to take that call?
You know, the time was right. And here in Maryland, we've got a great vision. The governor's vision for transit is there. I think Governor O'Malley, Lieutenant Governor Brown, and the Secretary Smith, they actually have a great vision, and we also have a lot of projects on the table that would attract any professional to be a part of what's happening in Maryland.
So what was your vision when you decided to take this job? What did you think you wanted to do to reshape, remake this agency?
In part of being a part of the governor's vision, I think we've got to really focus on growing ridership. And growing ridership has a lot to do with customer focus, being partners with our riding public, being partners with our employees, and being partners with other local governments in the area to make the Baltimore region a great place to live, make it mobile. And also, the MTA, a lot of folks perhaps forget, is a statewide agency, but also to make Maryland be a much better state as it relates to transit.
How do you think you're best equipped for this role, or how does your experience in both the public and the private sector prepare you to lead this agency?
You know, I think I am the right person for the right time here in Maryland. I have, as you say, 30 years of experience. Much of it has been in large urban areas similar to Baltimore, but I also have a great deal of experience in smaller, more rural areas. When you look at Maryland, Maryland is a combination of each of those. We are overseeing a locally operated transit systems throughout the state, and I think my experience in dealing with more rural and small urban areas give me a unique perspective that way. I also have the experience of having worked in Dallas, Texas. At that time, that city was in the early 90s, really growing and vibrant and expanding in their, not only the city, but and also their transit service. I worked in Chicago, where I ran the bus operations in that city, a much more established transit system, much more rudimental in terms of how it was growing and things that were happening there. And I think having worked here once before in Maryland gives me a unique view and being the leader of the agency again, coming back now.
Well, the bus service, the local bus service here at the MTA is clearly the largest driver of our ridership. Talk about what you'd like to see happen there.
There's a lot we need to do. I think we need to focus on our bus system, which is the core of our agency. It's the core of our agency in that it moves the vast majority of our customers. It's where we put most of our focus. However, as we go forward, we're looking to make it more of a network. How do we make the core of our service, this bus network, connect better with our light rail, connect better with our metro and all other services that we do? We want our riders in the Baltimore region to have the ability to have a network of services they could use as opposed to just having disjointed ones. So that's something we're going to focus on.
And part of that network speaks to a project we're going to be talking about a little later. The Red Line in the not too distant future is going to be running along the street behind us. Talk about just the tremendous opportunity to having 3 New Starts projects, well, 2 in this pipeline and 1 on its way, there to be a part of the growth and the shaping that vision.
I'm really proud to be a part of a state and a leadership and administration that has taken the initiative not only to go after New Start funding, but has secured the funding locally to do that, has secured the funding federally to get it done, and actually working in unique ways to make this happen. In the Baltimore region, we have the Red Line. The Red Line is a part of a network that ultimately, when it's completed, puts us in a position that it's a more complete system. It makes our city and our region much more livable and more mobile, and I think that's it's a great vision for us to have, and I'm extremely proud to be a part of that.
People out there saying, Robert Smith, this sounds like a guy I could get to know, I could go out and have a beer with. What do you want folks to know about you as a leader of an agency of more than 3,000 employees?
You know, at the end of the day, we are very people-focused. We're very customer-focused, and I'm the type guy that understands what we need to do. I roll up my sleeves. I need to get out in the community. I need to get with my employees and be a part of making this happen. And being a part of that by partnering with them, getting input from them as well. My family and I live in the region. We live in the region. This is our home. We plan to make it our home, and I think that's what I would like to say about that.
Well, folks who use the service know about both the tremendous challenge and opportunity that you have coming to the MTA, and I suspect many are going to be closely watching to see what you can do to move this agency forward.
Thank you.
Okay. Robert Smith, MTA Administrator. We'll take a break here. Much more coming up. In fact, we're going to be talking about that Red Line project in just a few minutes. Stay with us. We're back right after this.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If your home was built before 1978, it could contain harmful lead paint. Learn the danger zones. Protect your kids. Visit leadfreekids.org.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Terry Owens, and this is MTA Commuter Connections. You've probably heard a lot recently about the Baltimore Red Line. It's the new light rail system that will run from Security Boulevard through downtown to Canton, where we are now, and then to Bayview Hospital, its final destination. It's a project that has the potential of bridging communities and businesses throughout the region while creating lots of jobs. Deputy Director of Transit Development Jamie Kendrick joins us now with an update on the progress of the Baltimore Red Line. Jamie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here in Canton, where just a few years we'll be under construction on the Red Line.
For people who've not heard a lot about this project, why is this such an exciting development for the region?
Well, for so many years, we have wanted to have an east-west connection that was rapid and reliable, and now that is well within our sights. It's a system that it contributes to our overall system, the metro, the light rail, and really does start to make those connections that we've not really had in the region, and bring Southeast Baltimore into the rail fold. It's never really been there before.
And why is that level of connectivity so important to the growth of a region?
Well, it's the growth of the region and the growth of our system. You know, we know that great regions, great cities have great transit that is reliable, that is rapid, and it's something that attracts people and businesses to live and grow in that region. We see this in Boston, we see this in Phoenix, we see it in Seattle, and we are going to be just like those cities with our transit system going forward.
For years, these projects were in limbo due to a question around funding. Now we can almost see light at the end of the tunnel.
We really can. I'm so excited. I've been working on this for 10 years, and this month, Governor O'Malley, Lieutenant Governor Brown are going to announce that the state is putting in its first big share of construction funding, almost $700 million that will get us out of the box and get us matching our federal dollars that we will win in a grant from the Federal Transit Administration. And not only is that important because of getting under construction and just getting that first shovel in the ground, but because that Transportation Investment Act that Governor O'Malley, the General Assembly, worked on is not just about transit. It's about improving our entire transportation system around the state and around the region. So there are highway improvements, there's port improvements. All of these improvements which create to better mobility and economic growth around the region, including the Red Line.
This program is not without its challenges. We've heard all kinds of calls for everything from streetcars and other things to either complement or shorten the system. For people who hear that and say, well, why not consider that? Well, what do you say to those folks?
You know, I say we've been in a process for 10 years now, and we've looked at a lot of those issues and ideas, and a lot of them have merit, but they also have their flaws. And we were trying to build a rail line that has compatibility in terms of its speed, its reliability, and its qualities that looks like the Metro, that looks like the current light rail, where it runs in its own guideway, where it has its own stations with their own identities. And so, you know, streetcars certainly have their place in a system. Buses obviously been the backbone of our system for years, but now it's time to take that next step and really build that rapid, reliable system that connects all throughout the region.
And throughout this process, you've worked tirelessly to keep the community involved, to have that engagement. Why is that important?
Well, it's important because at the end of the construction, even though we all live here in this community, the communities that are most directly affected are going to have a sense of pride and ownership of the project. They're going to have to embrace it within their community. And I know that a lot of people have concerns, and they're all very legitimate questions and concerns that we've been working to resolve. Some people don't like the answers, but we can honestly say that we have done our level best to try and engage constructively to address them as best we can. Look, any multi-billion-dollar infrastructure project breaks a few eggs, right? It's our job to make sure that the omelet comes out better on the back end.
And what does it say about this project that the folks in Washington are redlighting the project and saying this is one that we would consider for new starts and go forward?
Well, you know, it gives us a lot of confidence as the planning and engineering team. It gives a strong signal to the construction industry to get ready, to get themselves geared up. It obviously provides for the state, for state legislators and the governor, some level of certainty that when they're out there pushing for this Transportation Infrastructure Investment Act like they did in the spring, that there is something that's going to be on the ground. And our federal partners have been great. You may recall that President Obama actually highlighted this as one of his top 10 infrastructure projects in the country, which really sped up the environmental approval process and now has us with the green light to go into those very final stages before we put shovels in the ground.
And for you guys that have been wed to this project for so many years, what does it mean to have the support of the governor, to have the support of the lieutenant governor, the General Assembly stepping up to say we're going to fund these projects?
Well, obviously on a kind of a personal and professional level, it's very fulfilling and very validating. Again, I've been on this for 10 years. Folks like Henry Kay and some of our consultants been doing this for slightly more than that. And it's, you know, on a personal level, it's incredibly rewarding to see that we're going to have a shovel in the ground in the next 18 months or so.
Most people don't really have an appreciation for what it takes to plan a project like this and then to see it through. These are long-range projects. They take years of labor, but it really is exciting to see that we're on the crest of something big, not only here in this region, but over in the Montgomery County area where we're looking at the Purple Line, the Corridor Cities Transitway projects. You guys are doing great work.
The Purple Line is, you know, on the same track, if you will. That we're going to be ready to put a shovel in the ground in the next year or two, and we couldn't be more excited about it.
All right, Jamie Kendrick, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks so much, Terry. I had a great time.
All right, talking New Starts projects and the good news that is coming not only here to the Baltimore region, but also to Montgomery County. We'll take a quick break and be back in just a moment.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Welcome back, everybody. One of our many goals at the MTA is to try and provide customers with a pleasant experience when riding public transportation. The City of Baltimore is also interested in helping to make your experience a good one. The city was recently awarded a grant to help liven things up in some transit areas in the downtown area. And here to tell us what's going on is Randy Vega. She's Cultural Affairs Director at the Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts. Randy, welcome to Commuter Connections.
Thanks, Terry.
Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So tell us about this grant. This is really exciting news.
It is exciting. We have a $200,000 grant from Art Place, which is a national consortium of funders who are interested in using the arts to spur community development in cities. And so they made a series of grants across the country. We were lucky enough to receive one. And ours was based on our 3 arts and entertainment districts in Baltimore. So we're concentrating on those 3 areas. One is the Bromo Tower district on the west side of downtown. One is Station North, just above the Penn Station on Charles Street. And the third is the Highlandtown district over on the east side.
So everybody's wondering, when are we going to see the fruits of all these labors?
Well, we're expecting our European visitors beginning in January of 2014.
Okay.
The projects will be worked on with the communities, with community members and community leaders and local artists and so forth through the spring. And then we'll be funding those projects to be completed by December of 2014.
The Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts blesses the city in so many different ways. You guys have so many antennae out there. And for people not familiar with the office, give us a sense of some of the other programs you're involved with.
Okay, well, people I'm sure are familiar with Artscape.
Yes.
That's our big event every year in July, and I'm sure many of your viewers come to Artscape and enjoy everything that we offer there. The Baltimore Book Festival, which is coming up shortly, is another one of our events. We do the fireworks at the 4th of July
Yes.
and New Year's Eve. And we also have, in addition to being an events planner for the city, we're also the film office for the city, so we work with film companies when they come through and help them with their permits and so forth. And we're also the Arts Council for Baltimore City. So we have a lot of arts programming, grants to artists and arts organizations, and programs like School 33, the Bromo Arts Tower, and so forth that we program throughout the year.
Now, as it relates to the new grants that you've received, if there are local artists who want to be involved in this process, how might they go about it?
They can just give us a call, let us know of their interest, the community that they're interested in, if they're residents in any of our arts and entertainment districts, or even outside of the district. We want to include as many people as possible.
Well, we know we have some incredibly talented artists in and around the Baltimore area.
Absolutely.
And I know once the word gets out about this project that they're going to be lining up. Is there a number people can call?
Sure, they can call our office. The number is 410-752-8632 and ask for me or any of our staff, and we'll be happy to chat with them.
Well, Randy, congratulations on securing this grant. I know there's tremendous competition out there for these limited dollars, and the fact that your office was able to win this prize and bring this tremendous opportunity to the city, I know is great work.
Well, thank you very much. We love what we do here in Baltimore, and it just makes Baltimore a better place to live.
All right. Randy Vega from the Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a break here. Much more ahead on MTA Commuter Connections when we come back. Stay with us.
Packers. Viking. Packers. Viking.
Viking. Red state. Blue state. Vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Welcome back, everybody. There are an estimated 4,000 new cases of breast cancer in Maryland each year. The good news, according to the American Cancer Society, is that today the majority of women diagnosed with breast cancer survive when diagnosed early. Breast cancer awareness and the fight against the disease comes to the fore during the month of October with the annual Race for the Cure. Thousands are expected to participate in this year's race, and Brittany Fowler, Communications Director for Coleman, Maryland, joins us with information on what we can expect at this year's event. Brittany, do you believe it's almost here again?
I know, almost October already, and we're gearing up and we're excited for it.
Do you guys start planning for next year's event right after the last one ends?
For the most part. We actually just recently started hosting 2 Race for the Cures within Maryland. We have one in April in Ocean City, and then we have our larger one in Hunt Valley in October.
Wow, what does that say about the interest and support of this mission?
You know, we're very fortunate that our service area is the entire state, excluding PG and Montgomery County, because they're covered by the National Capital Area. We're just trying to get into as many communities as possible to raise awareness, and the race is one of our biggest vehicles to do so.
When you hear that the work is paying off, that the dollars that you raise are leading to research that's helping to combat this disease, how does that help your team stay focused and for you to attract new people out to these events?
It's wonderful when we get information on a research grant that may have found something new or a new type of technology that we can use. Here in Maryland, 75% of the funds that are raised stay right here within the state to fund education, screening, treatment, and support services for women, men, and families who've been affected by breast cancer. So our job is really to provide funding for these services that they can use on a daily basis to go get a screening mammogram, to get a clinical breast exam, or to actually get financial help if they're already diagnosed with breast cancer. That help can provide funding for paying a mortgage, covering the cost of a babysitter while a mother and her provider or caretaker go off to get treatment.
And those are the stories so often that folk don't hear, that need to hear. Have you got one of those success stories that you can share with us, somebody whose life was really changed because there was funding there based on this race?
The wonderful part is that we have many of them. Our grant programs, some of the ones that provide funding and support services, are survivors offering support. And what they actually do is they will take women who are a survivor, who have been through breast cancer, been through the treatment, and have gotten back to normalcy, and they will match them up with a newly diagnosed woman who's roughly the same age, has the same family situation, and the general type of breast cancer, and they really become kind of a support group for one another. You know, letting each other know what the right kind of questions are to ask your doctor. And then we also have Red Devils who touch so many women and provide the financial support, help with cleaning, help with groceries, all of the things that you don't really associate with breast cancer until you're in the midst of treatment and really kind of trying to figure out your day-to-day schedule in life.
So for people who've never participated in one of your events, give us a sense of what we can expect coming up in October.
It's a wonderful day. Our race village opens at 6 a.m. We have sponsors there, we have bands. It's more of a festival type atmosphere. And then we have a parade of pink starting at 6:40, and that's all of the participating survivors. And they walk through the race village. They each wear a different hat and a different ribbon signifying the number of years that they've been a survivor. So we have people who have 1 ribbon, and then we have people who have 20 to 30 ribbons, and they all gather together. It's just a really fun event, and it's a great way to honor and memorialize people who have been touched by the disease.
Okay, and people who participate in this don't necessarily have to have been a survivor. This is for anybody who wants to come out and support the cause.
This is for everyone. We have a Kids for the Cure fun run. We have a 1-mile family fun walk. We have a 5K run, timed, untimed, and then also people can walk the 5K. So it's for all running levels, all fitness levels, and all ages.
Okay, so I'm sold. How do I sign up?
On our website, www.colemanmd.org/2013. We have all of the registration information. We have frequently asked questions and ton of other just fun fundraising tips and exciting opportunities are on the site.
I'm sure someone missed that information. Give that address one more time.
www.colemanmd.org/2013.
All right, Brittany, keep up the tremendous work you guys are doing. Thanks so much for coming out and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Can we get there on public transit?
Yes, you can.
Tell me about it.
You can actually take the MTA northbound starting at the Cromwell station at 5 a.m. and it runs every half an hour until 6:30 up to the McCormick station. And we actually give away free day passes for people who want to ride, and those are available on our website as well.
I knew there was a transit connection. Always is here on Commuter Connections. Thanks so much, Brittany.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick break, come back and answer some of your questions when we return. Stay with us. You're watching Commuter Connections.
Hi, I'm Tammy Bolden, MTA Manager, Systems and Equipment Engineering. Here's our first Ask the MTA question.
My name is Ianta Washington Alate. I'm from New York, but I live in Baltimore now 29 years in the Reservoir Hill community. And I have a concern about during rush hour, people sitting in the stairwell on the light rail train.
That's a great question. Actually, mechanically, there's not much we can incorporate inside of the light rail vehicle to prevent this from happening. However, what we can do is implement an awareness campaign by posting visible signage along with our fare inspectors to help promote not using the stairwells as additional seating. Next question, please.
Hi, my name is Tierra Battle, and I'm from West Baltimore, and my question is, can the fare inspectors be more friendly when inspecting fares? Okay.
That's a great question. The job of the fare inspector is to perform their duties in an expedient and professional manner. They are trained that their duties are a function of the MTA police force as well as a function of service and assistance to our customers. Now, on a daily basis, I must say that our fare inspectors do a very good job in performing their duties in a professional manner while still interacting with the public. Next question.
My name is Tiffany, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I live in Randallstown, and I would like to know why they do not have a shuttle for Randallstown to Milford like they do the Milford to North Avenue or Milford to Fulton Avenue.
Well, actually, there is the bus Route 54. So I would encourage you to go onto MTA's website at mta.maryland.gov because the Route 54 actually services the Randallstown area all the way down to North and Pennsylvania Avenue. And they also access the Metro at Milford Mill and Penn North. We appreciate your questions. If you have a question you'd like to ask the MTA, visit the MTA website at mta.maryland.gov for a convenient TV show link or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.
We'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us for this segment of Commuter Connections. We'd also like to thank you at home for watching. I'm Terry Owens. We'll see you next time on Commuter Connections.